Okay, so today we have the return of the instrument cluster where I added trans temp to it. Same one. I've pulled all the stepper motors off to get it ready for a rebuild. But before I do that, I want to do one last video with this instrument cluster, and I'm going to show you how to do mileage correction again. I know I have an older video on how to do this for the 2003 to 2007 instrument clusters. This one is a 2005 in particular, but it's the same technique from '03 to '07. And when I say '07, I mean '07 Classic. So um, I'm going to be using my homemade EEprom programmer again, like I've done in the last few videos. Here's it. Haven't really made any changes to it recently. Um, but this same exact technique can be applied to using the Minipro EEprom programmer. The difference you'll have in that is, so if we're doing it with the Minipro, you're going to have to use your hot air station and remove the EEprom, which on the '05 to '07 instrument clusters, this is where your EEprom sits. On the '03 and '04, your EEprom sits right here. But then on the this chip right here on the '05 to '07, it has to do with the GM Class 2 serial communication, and this one is your EEprom. This one is a voltage regulator, so just make sure when you are clipping on your EEprom programmer, you clip to the correct one. The GM one has a proprietary number on here. It is 56585, I believe. I mean, I'm not using my microscope to read it. Can't remember off the top of my head. And the voltage regulator, you'll only see this on the '05 to '07 boards. It'll be up here. The '03 and '04s, they don't have this. They have some resistors here. So these are just kind of your three SOP 8 chips, just trying to help you. Make sure you identify the correct one. You don't want to plug into the wrong one and damage your programmer. It's not very likely to damage one of these if you pulling the chip off because they do overcurrent protection. So you kind of gotta try to damage this thing. Uh, but this guy, pretty much all we gotta do is clip it on there, and then we can. Well, let me power it up real quick so that way you can see what mileage we're starting with. So let's go ahead and give the board power. And as always, we're just putting this clip on here that's cut out of it from the junkyard and we're using a bench power supply to give it power. So here we go, booting up, and we have around 150,000 miles on here. So let's go ahead and program this to another mileage. I'll still have to program it again once I finally sell this instrument cluster to somebody to whatever their actual mileage is. But we'll go for something on here. Haven't decided yet what I want to set it to, but let's go ahead and switch over to the desktop view and do this. Okay, so before I got too far into this video, I first want to cover the fact that the way that I program these using the Minipro or programming it with my homemade programmer, uh, not necessarily the best way of programming these, especially if you're doing it as a business. This is a really good entry level way. You just want to get started in this, doing instrument cluster repairs that you need to program these to make some changes to them. There's other options though if you're doing a lot of odometer correction. I don't do a lot of odometer correction. It's actually pretty uncommon for me to get one in that I actually accept for it. I'm pretty strict with odometer correction. I don't like the idea of people conning people, but it is important to have the knowledge out there for other people to be able to do repairs and do these for legitimate reasons. But if you're doing a lot of odometer correction and you're doing this as a business, you really would probably want to consider one of these OBD2 based tools for doing. From my understanding, the DigiProg does not do this instrument cluster through the OBD2 port. I believe you have to do it through the EEprom clip, but I'm not 100% sure. I've never used one myself, and I've never used any of these tools myself. But OBD Star, I've seen other technicians that I kind of talk to. I've seen that they use it. I mean, this one's got a terrible rating here, but then the same tool So you never know with eBay what you're getting. Um, but yeah, I just want to point that out before I got too far into this. That way, if you're looking to program quite a few clusters and not you don't want to take them apart. You're not in there already doing a repair for some reason. This would be the route you want to go. But if you're already in there, this is the free route to do it pretty much. I mean, a lot of people already have Arduinos lying around, so you're looking at like $10 for the clip, and some transistors that you'd probably have lying around from the kits. But the current design I have pushed out to people of this doesn't even use a transistor, so I mean, it's really just the Arduino and some jumper wires to get this clip plugged into the Arduino. So, I mean, this is an almost free, if at most $25 setup here, and this is $50 for one of the knockoff ones of these guys. So I don't know, nice entry level way of getting into it versus this. But let's get back into the actual programming. Get back on focus here. So to do the mileage on this one, it's stored in kilometers, even though this is a miles instrument cluster. So we got to get our values. So I just decided we'll just throw 95. We got to go pick our vehicle. So go into GM Chevrolet Silverado. There we go. All right. So as you can see here, this calculator TacoSoft only does the major miles, so it's not actually 100% accurate. So it only does the major, it doesn't do the minor. So this area would be considered the minor, and this area is the major. This one only does the major portion of the odometer, so we're not going to get a perfect number here. I don't have a calculator that does the minor portion of it, but most of those tools that I was showing on eBay, from my understanding, does it. So we're looking for 0E7E for it. Let's go ahead and read the EEprom. Okay, so here we have the major and the minor. So 02 is our minor, and here's our major on here. So let's go ahead and change this to 0E7E. 0E7E. Yep, okay. And then just do that for all of them. Yep, and I mistyped that one. 7E. Alright. So now we just got to put it back on there. If we copy and paste directly out of this editor here, it doesn't work. So let's go into Notepad real quick. Paste it. So we got all those spaces. We need to get rid of the spaces. So replace all the spaces with nothing. And there we go. That's what we need. Control C. Now let's go back into here. We're going to send it a 2 to write. And then it's going to tell us we have 7 seconds to paste it. So there we go. And it looks like we wrote it. Okay, so let's power this up and see what we got on there. So we got almost 95,000. So again, we didn't program the minor mileage, so it's off by a little bit here. So 25 miles, I would say. Let me get this glare off for you. There we go. There's the glare off. There you can see what it is. So, yeah, it's not perfect because the calculator we're using there is not perfect, and I really don't recommend this method of programming it unless you're dealing with, like, odometer error or something of that nature. But, yeah, it's a simple way of doing it. Low barrier to entry here. Definitely, these are your two cheapest ways of getting into doing odometer correction. I hope you guys like this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Just go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel.